Cut.
Hello, everybody. This is not my production. And I think, according to the Real Western, they don't do it that way. Anyway, here we go. Take care. God bless.
The story is about a group of Chinese people here in California in 1870 trying to make a difference for themselves, because back in China they were going through many hardships, and there's no money, no food, there's famine everywhere. So they've heard of a place called America, a land of opportunity. The streets are paved with gold. They're going to the state of gold, California, and they're here to try to make some money. Except that they come here to find out that conditions here are actually even worse than what they've experienced in China.
They were always, used to do the more dangerous work. A lot of explosions have been set, and mostly those Chinese people were the first ones to die.
20,000 pounds of Chinese bones were returned to China, and thousands of Chinese lost their lives.
It's about fairness, it's about justice, it's about seeking the truth.
Well, it focuses on one specific character, really. Singh, who is a Chinese labor worker.
And Singh's brother Pong gets killed actually by me, which starts a series of events culminating in a young girl called Mary, who's a friend of Singh, being killed, and the accusation towards Singh that he was the one who killed her.
He's escaping from the Americans, and he arrives to the Mexican town. So then I appear, and I feel identified with the story he's living. Julieta, their parents are dead. His father was killed because he found gold and they stole it. And they killed Singh's brother, so I feel identified, and his soul is beautiful, so I fall in love with him.
And then is a chase across the land to find out whether Singh was actually the murderer. And he's with his band of merry brothers in that event.
It shows a lot about Chinese people, how difficult they had it. They were immigrants, and they were abused, and they worked. It's like slavery work they had to do, and how they stood up and how they kept their culture in this cowboy world, and they were very much in tune with their religion and family, and how they kept it together, and how they kept together.
And understanding that we are all created alike in God's eye, and there are lessons that we all have to learn, and you take what you can from the message.
And no matter where we came from, we want to have a better life. We want to have a family. We want to work hard to earn a living and build a better life for us.
It has a number of different aspects to it which make it interesting. First of all, there's a historical reality to an extent of the story, because the Asian community did, to all intents and purposes, build the railways across America. I think there's an adventure aspect in the sense of what's going on with Singh, our hero, traveling across the country and being chased by the posse. It's a cowboy movie, which is always fun. Lots of shooting and action, and then also there's a love story that develops between Singh and a young Mexican woman. So there's all different elements to it. So I think it will be it will have a broad audience, I hope.
The biggest thing that I hope the audience gets out of this film is that the Chinese railroad workers become humanized. And a lot of times you hear stories about, oh, well, they work on the railroad and, you know, they did this, they were mistreated, but you never really got to see the inside life.
The Chinese came over here, and on their backs the railroads were built, and there was a lot of adversity. There were a lot of people that died to expand this nation, and that once again America represents a melting pot of humanity, and that through this film we see a different side of the settling of the West, and how it grew, how it expanded through the Chinese population and the adversity that they faced in laying down the tracks so that you're here, I'm here, out in California, can live and enjoy what this country has.
And I think it really shows a tremendous heart and backbone of what America's all about.
It's a thing that went on that not that many people know about. When you learn about it in school, but it's not a huge focus. And so it's good to bring that to a lot of people's attention.
It's not a cowboy film per se, even though it plays in the cowboy and Indian time, so to speak. But they see that we already back then had cultural differences, lots of cultural differences, because this country was founded by mainly, well, the world, Europeans, but also people from China, India, from everywhere around the world. People came to the United States and, you know, try to get their country, you know, make the best out of it for themselves. They fought for it. For every piece of earth, people had to fight back then. It wasn't that easy. You know, there wasn't a clear-cut law, and I think prejudice was much harder, much more progressive back then than now.
Even though we live in the new millennium, the 2000s, a lot of things now are still reminiscent of the way things were back in the days. You know, how even though people think they're in a land of opportunity might not come their way. You know, it doesn't matter who you are. You can be Latin, you can be African American, you can be European, whatever. You come over here, it's still not what you dream of it. It's a matter of how you digest everything around you, how you take it in, and how you make the best of it to make things work. And that's what really America is about.
It's a combination of different people who came to make this country safe, to set up different towns and cities to what it is now.
It's never an old story, even though it's set in a Western time. The message in the movie is very applicable to today.
The really, really wonderful thing that Aki has done is he's humanized this particular condition. And once something becomes humanized, then I think